Hi Fox, how are you doing? Well, the round number 13 of the candidates tournament is over and we already have a winner. Congratulations to Vishwanathan Anand from India, who has earned the right to challenge the world champion Magnus Carlsen later this year. So yes sir, Anand is back. The Tiger is back and he will be the next challenger, the first challenger actually, for the brand new world champion from Norway, Magnus Carlsen. We will see a rematch between these two players, certainly against all odds and bets. Anand has been the more stable and solid player of this tournament, while everybody else has failed and has lost more than a game. He hasn't lost any single game. He had 2 victories, 12 draws. Okay, but that's another way of playing. If all the rest of the opponents keep losing games, well, that will give you the victory. That's what happened here in Khanty-Mansiysk. Let us see what happened today in his game against R13.Karjakin, who was more or less the one who could catch him today. Karjakin is white, Anand is black, so let us see. Karjakin plays d4, kind of a surprise because, well, he has played d4 more than once, of course, but his main move, absolutely main opening, is 1e4. But you can understand he plays d4. He needs to create complications, a long game against Anand. He wants to have a chance to catch him in the standings. And if he plays e4, Anand can play the Berlin, and there is really not that much to play in the Berlin at this top level. So he tries d4. Well played. d5, c4. Anand would normally play c6, the Slavs, the semi-Slav. In this occasion, he will play e6. The Queen's Gambit declined. Also, he's a master in this opening as well. Knight f3, knight f6, the waiting move e3, which we already saw in the game Kramnik Aronian. Bishop e7, b3. The dark square fianchetto scheme set up, interesting and not very not unusual at all in the Queen's Gambit. Black castles bishop b2, and well, black strikes back into the center immediately with c5, very principled. Well, and in this position with all these pawns in the center, c4, d4, c5, d5, both players are in kind of a danger of getting an isolated queen's pawn, if that's anything dangerous. So depending on the move order, for instance, if bishop d3, which could be normal, knight c6, short castle. Now black could play d takes, c4, bishop takes, and take on d4, making white carry with this isolated queen pawn. Well, after c5, Karjakin rather played c takes d5. Now it's black who can choose how to play. For instance, if it plays e takes d5, it is clear he will be carrying with his isolated pawn. Knight c3, say knight c6, bishop e2, c takes d4, and knight takes. And now black has this isolated queen pawn. It's a matter of taste, I guess. Let us see what happened in the game really. After c takes d5, move number 7, Anand took back with the knight. He doesn't want an isolated pawn. Karjakin takes also on c5, and well, he could have, there are lots of moves here for black. He can take immediately back, he can play queen a5 check and take with the queen. He played rather knight d7, developing the knight, and white takes his chance to give the pawn back, as it will not be defendable at all in this way. c6, creating a weakness for black, as b takes c6, and this pawn on c6 is kind of a weakness in an open file and all that old stuff. Knight bd2, developing a5, very beautiful move. Black is planning to push forward, create like making like a little minority attack here. The bishop can be put on a6 or either b7 or a6, and this is, well, we've already seen this kind of move. Remember the game against Mamedyarov, also it was a semi-Slav, and this kind of liberating a5 a4 is it seems Anand knows how to play this move very well. Well, e4 is played here, chasing the knight away to f6, and now Karjakin plays queen c2. Black kept pushing a4, and here, well, Karjakin took on c6 the pawn. Of course, he's threatening the rook, but this doesn't seem to be really the best, as it's Black will have always enough counterplay. He has tons of development to compensate for this pawn, and will really take his own back. Instead, maybe bishop c4 to complete development. If a takes b3, a takes b3 is much better than taking with the bishop, because now bishop a6 and white has a problem to castle. So after a takes b3, a takes b3, rook takes a1, bishop takes a1, queen b6 for instance, developing the queen, say castle, and rook d8. Well, black has a weakness on c6, that's clear, but he's standing, I think, reasonably well. His pieces are more or less coordinated. He has a complete development. The bishop will go to b7, maybe to a6, and this should be more or less no much problem for black to hold. Well, instead, Karjakin tries his luck. He rolls the dice, he takes on c6 and see what happens. There's lots of moves here, rook a7, rook a5 for black. Anand chose to play queen a5, protecting the rook. And now queen takes a4 was played by Karjakin, winning the second pawn. But as we'll see, these pawns are not very reliable soldiers. Instead, I don't know, he could try to complete development, but there was definitely a very interesting line here. It was worth to be seen in the board. If, for instance, bishop e2, there is this nice move, a takes b3. Now a takes, the queen is going to be sacrificed. Really nice. Queen takes a1, bishop takes, rook takes a1, bishop d1, and now bishop a6. Black has his idea, for instance, to go rook c8, rook c1, and well, this is a pure queen sacrifice for rook and the bishop, but I think it's absolutely solid and stable position for black. His coordination is really a good one. He's completed development, and white won't be castling for a while. So it's I'd rather be black here really. Bishop pair, good coordination, complete development, and well, this is really a very interesting position for black. It was a cool one. It's a shame we didn't see it actually in the game. Instead, Karjakin after queen a5 he took on a4, and here the queens were exchanged. And well, white is 2 pawns up, but both of them are very likely to fall. As, by the way, Magnus Carlsen, the world champion himself, said during the live stream. He was joining the commentator Peter Heine Nielsen by phone from Oslo. Knight c5, attacking both a4, e4. Karjakin goes bishop b5, protecting the one, kind of protecting the one on a4, but still Anand can take it. The rook is defending the knight. Well, it was, I guess, more or less possible to take the one on e4 as well. Knight takes, castle, bishop b7, etc. But well, what Anand did seems even better. He's really played really masterfully here. So knight c5, he takes on a4. Bishop b5, knight takes a4. White plays bishop d4. Bishop d7, forcing more or less the exchange of the pieces here. Bishop takes, knight takes, king e2. Well, good move. White to castle if the king is safe, and it will be much more useful in the center. Knight a c5, rook h c1, attacking, putting pressure on the c file. Rook a4, rook c2, rook f a8, and rook a c1. And we're reaching a crucial point of the game. Anand seems he had really calculated all the tactical sequence we're going to see, and he was absolutely confident that the rising endgame was not very dangerous for him, and he was confident he would hold it. Let us see what happens. Now the point is that rook takes a2, but the rook takes on c5. This is going to be 2 pieces for the rook. Bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, rook c8, and an only move here, not to lose piece. Bishop a3, bishop, rook takes c1, bishop takes c1. So Karjakin gets two light pieces for a rook, and he will certainly try hard to push, as he's more or less the one playing for the win here. But as we will see, Anand really had this more or less under control, and he will show he's really a solid player. He's in a good mood, in a good shape. Knight c5, king e3, f6, controlling lots of central squares. Knight d5, attacking the pawn on e6, e5, knight e2, h5, creating room for the king and also stopping white pawns from advancing too much too early. Now h3, the king goes near to the center, king f7, knight c3 attacking the rook, rook c2 attacking the bishop, and also the knight. Knight e2, only move to defend both, rook a2, and a couple of, well, h4, g6. Some moves here which really show that it isn't easy at all to advance to improve white's position. Black rook is really doing a great job attacking all these pieces on the second rank, keeping everything under control. The knight is keeping white king from going through d3. The pawn is keeping d5, d4 and f4. So really a good bind of the position black piece from black pieces, and this is kind of a fortress black has. Kudos to Anand for seeing this. King e6, f3, king f7, but there is really not much going on here. Knight c3, once again rook c2, knight e2, rook a2. Karjakin tries to go knight b1, but here knight b3. Soon we will see a couple of pieces exchanged. Knight bc3 attacking. Sorry, sorry. Knight bc3 attacking the rook. Rook a1. Now bishop b2. Rook f1. Knight d5. Knight a5. Knight b6. Well, it has the idea to stop the fork. Otherwise, say, I don't know, rook knight ec3, and suddenly bang, knight c4 check, and white loses a piece and the game. So knight b6 was forced more or less. Now rook b1, and the pieces are exchanged here this way. Bishop c3, Anand takes on b6, Karjakin takes on a5. Now rook b3 check, bishop c3, g5, h takes, f takes, king f2, rook b5, protecting the pawn, g4, h4. Black even has a passed pawn on the h file, so already on the 5th. So this seems, if anybody is better, I would bet even it is black, because his passed pawn is a huge plus for him. But still, this is very, very drawish. Knight g1, and well, here I will save you 30 moves of nonsense. We're jumping into move 79 right now. We're in the move 49. We're jumping 30 moves ahead, and let us see if anything great happened. You can see nothing really happened, just moving up and down, and already 30 moves have been played still from the last position. So let's go. Let's keep playing from the 79th move. Rook a2, bishop d8 check, king g6. The bishop just hangs around. Rook b2, bishop c5, king f6, king g1 check, king h2, rook b3 attacking the pawn, king g2, rook b2. Really, there is no way to advance here. Bishop b4, rook b2, bishop goes back to e1. Now black even thinks about advancing his pawn, h3 check. Interesting move. The last variation we're gonna see in this game. If king takes h3 had happened, now the point is rook e2, attacking both pieces. Only move to save for the time being both knight e3. But once again, rook e3, beautiful move, attacking once again both, and the knight must be sacrificed. Rook takes e1, and still should be a draw because it's a couple of pawns and the knight against the black rook, but it's black playing for something more here clearly. So after h3 check, Karjakin played king f1. Now h2, knight h1. Yeah, the h pawn is really has something to say here. Rook b1, king e2, and now, well, black is better, but still the draw is more or less very likely to happen here, as it is white who create more or less a fortress here, and they agree to draw here. The 91 moves, and this way, having drawn this game, Anand secures his place at the World Championship match against Magnus Carlsen later this year, so he will have a rematch against the young Norwegian talent. And what to say, it was an unexpected result for the tournament before it started, but there it goes. We will have Anand Carlsen rematch later this year. Congratulations, and thanks for watching.